works. Now, I'm thinking the setting that you mentioned, and Sarah, you know, your setting, and maybe I want to ask you all this, that, you know, people who recognise those places or maybe identify with a similar place, how have they reacted? I mean, you know, when you've been around, Sarah, to the local libraries or bookstores in the area, are the locals proud that they've got a crime series set there, even though it's not a specific place? What's the reception that you've had?
I think so. I mean, I'm always conscious that you're not only sort of talking about the piece to people who don't know it, but also to my neighbours who are going to be reading the book and so on. So it's trying to create the atmosphere of the sort of the peak. The only thing is, I tend not to use real life examples from Derbyshire because I'm using a fictional place, if that makes sense. So my latest book, A Patient Fury, I have someone who does ghost tours. You know, like you can go around a ghost tour around Hull or whatever. And I didn't want to use any local Derbyshire ghosts because somebody might think, oh, well, you know, that book's set there. So I went to various places, and one of the haunted pubs is called the Trip to Jerusalem, which is quite a famous pub in Nottingham. And I've had irate letters from people in Nottingham saying, can't you think of a name of a pub without stealing And it's called the Trip to Jerusalem because it's on the Crusader Trail. And I thought, well, my fictional town of Bampton could be on the Crusader Trail, that'd be fine. But no, I've really upset them. Not readers, so I won't be doing that again.
Yeah. And out there, have your books been published in Germany?
No, we're published. It's a bit like the Dad's Army graphic in reverse, because it was sold to sort of all the countries surrounding Germany, but the Germans steadfastly refused to buy at the moment. So I'm hoping that will change. But I have had good feedback. I have had bad feedback from former East Germans, but I've got a mate from the BBC who was an East German, and he reads all my drafts. He's kindly read all my drafts without me paying him any money so far. So I hope that might continue. But I think he helps it give a sense of realism. But interestingly, I don't know if anybody's watched The Same Sky on Netflix, that's set in East Germany, West Germany, about the same period as mine, the mid-70s. So that was made in German. So I'm hoping that there might be a rise, a trend, and certainly when I went to Madrid recently, and they kept on asking me, so what about this phenomenon of totalitarian noir? And I said, what do you mean? I didn't know anything about it, but apparently I'm part of this phenomenon called totalitarian noir, but maybe it only exists in Spain.
Let's not go there, not the Catalan question. Can I keep pressing you a little bit about this, if you don't mind? The response that you got that maybe wasn't so positive, do you think it was from the idea of, you know, who are you to be looking at part of our history, or what issue did they take?
That's definitely the feedback my agent gets when they try and sell the series of Germany. It's that why should we trust an English author about a difficult time in our history? But the thing is, with East Germany, Germans have different memories. Different Germans have different memories of East Germany, depending whether, a lot of it depends whether they were within the system or whether they fell foul of the system. And so, my novel, I think Abir was talking about this earlier, in all novels there's a bit of artifice, isn't there? And in my novels there is a bit of I've created a bit of an artifice between the People's Police, the State Police, and the Stasi. It's difficult to make the Stasi good, but I've tried to give some sympathetic aspects to the People's Police. But, for many East Germans would say that the People's Police and the Stasi were one and the same.
So tricky, yeah.